Hey guys, this is Joseph Lucero with HarvestandStrength.com. We're going to talk about the warm-up. So how you can get prepared to have a great day, a great session, more in particular the squat sessions and the deadlift sessions. So I think all of these movements and all this protocol is going to make the most sense for those days. Maybe if you're a strongman trying to get ready for the yoke or farmer, you can still use these movements because I think they're highly underrated and not a lot of powerlifters are wanting to do things like that. So the biggest thing with the warm-up is literally you got to warm up the body. Science says, the warmer the body is, the more elastic the muscles want to become, which will then correspond to better performance. So how do we get there? It's easy to just say, hey, jump on the treadmill or walk the neighborhood for about 10 minutes, but there are some people who take things real literal in performance training, so I'm going to go ahead and give you those answers right now. So I'm going to put a calculation on the bottom of the video. What you want to do is you want to find your max heart rate. So it's 220 minus your age, and that'll give you a number to work with. But that's not the number you want to use. That's like the max your heart rate wants to get in response to anything. So for me, I'm 34. So as long as I don't mess up the math, 220 minus 34 is 186. 190, 220, yeah, 186. Now what I'm going to do there is if I want to warm up, I would like to be at about 60% of that. So I don't know what that number is. Hopefully it spits at the bottom. But 60% of 184 is what's going to be best for you to kind of get the body warmed up. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and ask Alexa. Alexa, what's 184 times 0.6?
184 times 0.6 is 110.4.
Okay, so when I multiplied that, I said times 0.6 because when you do that calculation with percentages, you have to use a decimal form. So 60% is 0.6. Oh my gosh. So it said that 184 times 0.6, which is 60%, is about 110. That's where your number should be. And the reason why you want to have a specific number and you want to be kind of specific about that is because what if you warmed up at 130 or 135? That might be too much to where now you're in kind of more of a detrimental cardiovascular state, and that could make you exhausted to perform even later in the workout. So again, 220 minus your age, that's your max heart rate. Use 60% of that, which is 0.6, to find your warm-up range. Now, for the cool down, after you're done with your workout, you can go up to 80%. That's gonna be a little bit harder. So let me ask, Alexa, what's 184 times 0.8?
184 times 0.8 is 147.2.
So 147.2, so 147, that means at the end of the workout, I can be between 110 to 147. And depending on your goals, if you want to shed more weight, obviously the higher the heart rate, the more energy you expend. You might want to go at the 80%. But regardless, cool down, warm up. 60% max heart rate, work up to 80% max heart rate at the end of the workout. If you want to prioritize body composition or cardiovascular strength or both, those are good numbers to use. And definitely warm-ups don't go longer than 10 minutes. And then cool downs, 10, 15, 20 minutes, just depends. Those are some good numbers to kind of work with. So hopefully those make sense. Now let's actually get into the warm-up. The warm-up, I'm going to use a lot of hip joint specific exercises. And I'm going to kind of go back and forth between my list and what you see on the screen. So, you warmed up. Now let's say the next thing you did is foam roll. Foam rolling, you can probably YouTube it. I could show you, but I don't want to. If you don't know what foam rolling is, you take this one over here. And what it does, the simpler way to explain it, when you foam roll, your hamstrings, your quads, your butt, your back, what it does is it causes a little bit of pain, which actually increases flexibility and mobility, which can help with your performance. And some people might think, oh, well, I don't want to be super mobile. The thing about it is I'm not saying hold a static stretch, make your muscles lengthen to where they're too loose. I'm saying this can be a great way to warm up without stretching and loosening the muscle and increasing mobility, because we've all seen it. People try to deadlift off the floor, they have to hunch over, their hamstrings are too tight, they have bad positioning. Using a foam roller can kind of help you with increasing the amount that your hamstrings can stretch and move, and whatever joint we're talking about, it can make you get into better positioning for better workouts. If you don't like foam rollers, I got another one for you. It's a hand roller. Just take this. You can find them on Amazon. I don't know where I found this one, but you can do the quad, but you gotta be loose when you do it. You can't flex your quad and do it. You have to be like in a loose position. You can do it standing, seated. You can hit the hamstring. My big thing about this one is that requires a little coordination, a little bit of thought process. This one's legit, like hit the areas and let's go. This would be great for your legs. That could be good for like your hips and your back. But let's get back into the warm up. So you've warmed up your body's temperature, 60% of max heart rate. You foam rolled or hand rolled if possible. Now let's talk about the movements you're gonna do. The first one is the kneeling hip extension. So you want your front leg, have something to support you. Front leg's at 90. I'm gonna look at my foot. I'm gonna take a full step forward. I gotta keep my posture up, my face forward, keep my chest up. And when I stretch and lean forward, I'm just sliding forward. I'm not looking down doing this because that's not causing the sensation I want. I'm trying to recruit this hip flexor to stretch. And when I do that, I feel it. Now here's the thing, like I told you, stretching can take away the elasticity of the muscle. But what's interesting enough is your hip flexors, when you do this position right here, even though you're strengthening or you're stretching the muscle, the hip flexor is not going to have a huge part in creating those tight contractions for max performance. It's allowing your hips to extend better. So doing the kneeling hip extension is a great tool. I would do both legs 10 seconds each and then go into the next phase. So the instep with rotation, this one's kind of hard. Now you want to get into push-up position. So like right here, and the goal, I got this big bench in the way, but the goal, let me slide this over, is that you want to get your foot, so in push-up position, you want to get your foot as close to the hand as possible. Now, let's say you can't, okay? You can go into push-up position on your knees, and you can try to get your foot up and try to creep it up. But this is a great one where you take your elbow to the floor and back into push-up position. Now, if that one's too hard, you can obviously skip it. I'm sure there's some other variations that you can use, but I really do love the instep exercise to kind of help with that mobility and that stretch. Okay, so we're gonna do the kneeling hip rotations. Some call them fire hydrants. So what you do is you get a bench, you stand beside it, and you're gonna get your chest and hips to face the floor, look down. You're gonna raise your hip and leg and go up to the bench and back. And if you can, try not to touch the bench. And you wanna go 5 rotations. Now, you do 2 sets of 5, and we do the squeeze, the abduction squeeze, where you're trying to squeeze your leg into the bench, into the floor, and feel your adductors get tense. And you're gonna go, 5 reps. So it's like a little squeeze, rest, a little squeeze, rest. So like squeeze, rest, squeeze, rest. And then from here, you're gonna do the abduction, raising your knee off the bench like this. And when you do that, that's gonna recruit the abductors, the glute medius and minimus. That's gonna help those, your butt muscles work a little bit harder and get prepared for the workout. So again, let's roll through this real quick. Warm up, 60% of max heart rate, 10 minutes. Foam roll, hand roll, try to hit the legs, the back, etc. And then kneeling hip extension, 10-second holds. The instep exercise, you want to hold that there, or you want to get 5 reps there. The rotations on and off the bench, 5 reps. Squeeze, 5 reps into the bench, and then open up 5 reps. Switch sides. And then from there, you want to work on your ankle mobility and doing certain exercises. So the first one, standing calf stretch. I put my foot on the edge of the bench, and I just try to lean into it, feel the calf stretch. 10 seconds, 3 rounds. And then what you can do, the next one is toe elevated wall squats. Those are very hard. Imagine there's a wall in front of me. Imagine getting little plates on the floor. These are way too high. But the concept is you want to elevate your toes, face a wall, because when you face a wall, you can't lean into the wall. Your hips have to go backwards. If you do that, that's going to challenge your ankle mobility, your hip strength. Doing the wall facing wall facing toe elevated squats with like maybe a 5 or 10 pound plate. It's gonna be really good for like overall performance. 3 sets of 6 on that. And then you can do another one as well. Foot elevated in place lunge. So like right here, go down reps, switch sides, go down reps. Don't use this obnoxious toe elevated position. Use like a 5 or 10 pound plate. And then doing the single leg work is going to make sure that your legs are firing off evenly for the workout. So hopefully the warm up makes sense. I'm sweating a little bit just thinking about it, but overall use those things as tools to help you get ready for your workout. If they are too tiring, do everything 1 set. And then if you get to build up to it, go 2 sets. And if you're feeling really good about it and you need a little bit more time, go 3 sets. The whole idea is to get you ready for your workout, because the problem is many people will tell me when they train, hey, about halfway through the workout, I finally feel strong. And it's because probably they didn't warm up very aggressively. And this is kind of my thought process on kind of getting your hips and your ankles ready for a good deadlift and squat day, for improving foot pressure to the floor, and then leveraging the hip joint and knee joint more effectively versus being like knees over toes the whole time. That's kind of where my thought is on that stuff. So hopefully this video makes sense. If you have more questions, please send an email, leave a comment below, and we'll help you out. Thank you.